Hi guys, it's Kelly Fusco here, and I'm very excited to be with Miss Ink Stamps for this video. I'm going to be using Miss Ink Stamps Season's Greetings stamp set, which is a sentiment stamp set. I'll be focusing on the bottom sentiment for this card. And I'm going to be using Miss Ink's Pine Forest Silhouette stamp set. This is just a silhouette of black trees, which, well, can be black or any color you want. And I'm going to be using some Distress Oxides, some VersaFine Onyx black ink, pigment ink, a little bit of masking tape, and some sponge daubers, finger daubers rather, for my inks. And I'm also going to be using 2 little strips of holographic cardstock in maybe 1/8 inch strips. So to begin, I'm using 110-pound Neenah cardstock. No, 80-pound Neenah cardstock, and I'm just masking off where I want my strip of inks to be. Now with oxides, to get them, they pretty much blend easily, and to get them to have a seamless blend, you got to give them a little bit of time to dry. So you may be looking at it and thinking, oh, it's not blending right, it's not looking right. Just hang tight, let it dry a little bit, and if you're still not happy, you can go back over it again. But with these colors, I use Tumble Glass, Tumble Glass, Kitsch Flamingo, and Dusty Concord. And I just went over them, and I got a little bit of a crossover color, and I just overlap colors to make sure I get a nice blend. Once that's done, I'm going to peel off the masking tape, and to prevent bleeding under the tape, always try to keep in mind not to go straight to the edges with a full inked applicator. Like, go to the center and then use the edges. That's what I do to try to prevent bleeding. Then I just splattered a little bit of water just for a little bit of interest in the background, because they're oxides, why not? Now for my silhouette stamp, I'm peeling that off, and I'm going to line that up. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, it's going to stamp over the edge. I'm like, I should have left the masking tape on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some masking tape again, and that's fine. And I just tuck that under so I can get that in the corner of my MISTI, relining my stamp back up and pressing that down, adhering it to the door, and then I'm going to ink it up with my VersaFine Onyx. But before that, I'm going to add a little bit of anti-static powder tool, anti-static powder, to make sure that nothing sticks where it shouldn't be. And I also want to make sure that my panel was dry, so I added a little bit more, and I just did a little quick test run just to make sure. I've done this before where I've added powder, I go to stamp, and the powder sticks everywhere because the ink is still wet. So I just tested it quick just to make sure, because I learned that lesson many times. I've made that mistake. So always check, make sure your inks are dry first. So I stamped that twice to get a nice black image. And then I use some clear embossing powder on top of my trees, just so I can heat them up, and so they'll have a nice shiny glow. What's great about silhouette stamp sets is that they're so easy to work with. I mean, you can just make them black and put whatever color you want behind it, whether it be watercolor or just ink blending like this. So for people who are not great on coloring, silhouette stamps are a great option. And with this card, it's going to be all one layer, as far as it's not going to have much dimension. So what's great about that is it's going to be easy to mail. So these are great cards to mass produce if you want to keep your postage low and not have to add extra postage for dimension. So I stamped my greeting, which is "Believe in the Magic of Christmas," because I thought that would be a great sentiment stretched along the horizontal bottom of my card. And then I went ahead and I just cut a little, like those little boxes on my trimmer each box is a 1/4 inch. So I just did like half a box. That's how I measure. I'm not big into the measurements and stuff. So I just did half a box on each one, and that gave me an 1/8 of an inch, because 2/8 equal a 1/4. So I did 2 of those. Then I went ahead and grabbed a ruler, because knowing me, I would wind up gluing it off center. So before I realized I wanted to glue that down, I wanted to trim my panel just a little bit because I wanted to glue it to a black card base and I wanted the black border to show. So here I grabbed my ruler, clear so I could see, and I added a little bit of Liquitex glue. That's what I used. And because I find that it has no shine whatsoever, it's better than the multimedia matte in my personal experience. I have a video on my channel if you ever want to check that out. So anyway, what I did was I just added the glue. I used the ruler to line it up to make sure I didn't glue it on crooked, because I will definitely glue it on crooked if I don't have somebody helping me out here, such as the ruler. So I put that second one on, and then once that was done, I flipped it over and just trimmed off the little excess. And in the top left there, you'll see my card base. But what's cool about this card base is that it's white inside. It's a two-tone cardstock. It's Nina. One side is Epic Black. The other side is Classic Crest White. So it's pretty cool cardstock. Anyway, so I glued my panel onto my card base. And then there, so you could see the little black border there. And then I was like, well, it kind of needs something. So I grabbed some Trinity stamps and all my stars, and I glued those down on there just for a little bit more shine to match the holographic strips. And that's it, folks. So see here, you can see the inside of my cards white on my black card base, so I don't have to add a white inside for it to, to write my sentiment or stamp my sentiment inside. So that's it. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you liked this card and this video. And if you did, please consider subscribing and liking. And check out Miss Ink Stamps for more inspiration from the design team and from the company. Thanks again. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay crafty. Bye-bye.